Happy Friday. Hashtag my global family. This is Dre Abeita, your favorite coyote. At least I better be your favorite coyote family. How are you doing today? And welcome to Intersections of Medical Marijuana with me, Dre Abeita. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And I am so happy to have survived, family. Because I'll be honest, COVID is definitely starting to wear on me, family. I'm getting the fever. I got my hair did today. And I was telling Neil, I'm like, I can't wait for you to be fully vaccinated. 1 more week, 5 more days. Oh no, 7 more days. Can't wait, family. So this is my weekly spa, family, for me to talk about my medication. I am a survivor of trauma 3 times over, my family. I was, unfortunately, raped and molested as a ramification of Indian boarding school as a child, family. But I am an amazing two-spirited indigenous warrior. Don't let this bling fool you, family. I may be Isleta royalty, but I got fangs and I got teeth and I'm a trickster coyote and I defend and protect, family. And that is because of the trauma that I myself have survived, including in 2008, an incident with police brutality. And an academic predatory relationship. I've been doing my PhD, family, for 8 years now. And 3.5 years ago, I discovered that I was in a predatory academic cult-like relationship. And that was very traumatic for me, family. I became suicidal at that point. I lost all hope in what I was going to do in this world. And it was dark, dark times, family. And this is my medicine. But more importantly than my medicine, family, it was my actual family, both blood and adopted, that raised me up and lifted me up. Because what they did, family, is they showed me that I was important, that I was loved, and that I had hope. Because I had lost hope and I had lost confidence and belief in myself. So, family, let us remember that trauma comes in all shapes and forms, and that many of our lives are marked by it. So please keep an open mind, which is why I am an open advocate for medical marijuana. Because let's be honest, family, I am an academic. I am also a whistleblower and an advocate. But being open about being an advocate for medical marijuana can be scary and can actually hurt your career. So it is revolutionary. But family, COVID has taught me that we do not have time to waste, that every single day of my life is a gift, and every action, every video, every community member that I recruit, every event I host, every student that I help to actually get into higher education, because I be writing all those recommendation letters, family, and I be editing all of those essays. And I give my inspirational speeches and tell the youth that they are my hope. Because honestly, family, they are. So join me in changing your mind, opening it, family. Open your hearts, open your minds. And that is how we are going to transform this world. So during this medical marijuana spot, I take a look at a piece of media or an organization that's doing amazing work, or sometimes I have a guest speaker. So today, family, my topic is the new recreational law for the state of New Mexico. And I looked up a news article from our local KRQE. Let's take a look because they explain it very succinctly. And I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised, family, because I hope that embracing new ideas like medical marijuana will allow us to be successful, bring opportunity to our economy, and literally it allows for people to open a doorway to potential medication. So with a medical card, which is what I have, family, because I've been diagnosed with PTSD, I am allowed to go purchase marijuana legally in the state of New Mexico right now. A person who has not applied for this card and for this special condition does not qualify, right? For them to have weed, it is a misdemeanor, I believe, in the city of Albuquerque now, right? So it's technically illegal, although it does not carry a heavy penalty. What recreational marijuana does is it allows for people who might have been interested, but for whatever reason, maybe they work for the government, or maybe they work in an industry like teaching, where if it became open, sorry, family, I should be facing you when I'm saying all this stuff, right? So if you're in a profession like teaching, or maybe nursing, or a profession where you have a security clearance, it may potentially be illegal for you to even have a medical marijuana card. So potentially, family, again, please be legal. Please do not do anything to endanger yourselves, your families, your livelihood, your jobs, or anything. But what recreational can do is allow for people who are passively interested in this medication to try it. And there is a price differential, family. It is hugely expensive to purchase medical marijuana in the state of New Mexico. When I use a gram, or when I purchase a gram of my medical marijuana in the form of butane hash oil, in a state that borders us, like Colorado, for example, you can purchase 8 grams of this same butane hash oil, and it would be around $120. In the state of New Mexico, 1 gram, right? So that was for 8 grams. In the state of New Mexico, 1 gram is $60. So if we lived in a state like Colorado and you had access to recreational, but you were using for medical purposes, you would actually get quite a steep discount by purchasing it through a recreational store. So recreational allows for people to try a medication that they don't have to put on the record for, right? In the same way that you would be when you apply for an actual medical marijuana card. But it also does open up other advantages to us who have medical marijuana cards, because it will force some of the prices down in our own medical dispensaries, which will allow us to save some money. So family, there are many advantages, and I am very proud that our state has taken this step to catch up, to be honest, with a lot of other states. So kudos, New Mexico, and family, may we invest. Cami, hear me. May we invest those dollars wisely so that we can grow from that investment. All right, family, let's take a look at the KRQE report. It is very, very, very educational. All right, here we go. Recreational marijuana, what you need to know in 10 numbers. And this is by Curtis Segarra, and it's dated April 12th, 2021. And forgive me, family, I'm going to go ahead and take a hit of my butane hash oil because it's Friday as well. So I don't know about you, family, but I'm chilling. I be chilling. Poor Neil, he's waiting for me to be done with work. But I love you all, and I'm getting used to my new schedule because every moment with you, family, is important and educational. So I am using what is called, this is a dab tool, and I'm using a little butane, sorry family, I was called propane. This is not propane. Propane is for your grill. This is butane. And this is that little tool that you have in the kitchen. I don't know if you're fancy, but if you have creme brulee, that's how I think of it. You flame the top of your creme brulee with it. So I take my tool and I lightly dab it, which is why this is also called dabbing, family, into the butane hash oil. You guys have seen me with my vape pen a lot. Think of this as taking a vape pen without the same constraints, right? When you have a small battery, you take small puffs of it. But this one, it's getting a larger dose of medication at a quicker rate. And I would just like to tell you, family, please be incredibly careful, okay? On YouTube, there are these things called 1 gram challenges. I'll be honest, family, do not try them. Please do not. Be responsible, family. That's the whole point of these educational spots. I, as a professor, in training, right? Although I have taught in higher education for 8 years, family. So my students proudly call me Professor Abeita. Anyways, so people like me come out to say that we use this as a medication to help other people who might be judged more harshly because of their own intersections, maybe race or class or occupation, family, because we need to take change seriously. And the war on drugs did a lot of damage to poor white communities, communities of color, Black communities, and the criminal justice system is a modern form of slavery, family. Michelle Alexander, the new Jim Crow, please check it out. All right, I am medicated now, family. Let us go to our resource. All right, so again, what you need to know in 10 numbers: 21 years. The legal age to purchase, possess, and use cannabis under the new law is 21. Additionally, to work in the emerging cannabis industry, you must also be 21 years or older. But lawmakers are aware that younger adults may try to acquire and use marijuana, so the bill includes guidelines for restricting access to children and underage adults, which is amazing, family, and also important in any legislation. What we are talking about is like any substance, family, this is a medication. So just like you don't want children or anyone to get in the NyQuil, the Benadryl, or the alcohol cabinets, you want to make sure that you lock up your medication or your recreational marijuana when it becomes available, to keep the little one safe. Also, family, be careful, because there are edibles that come from dispensaries right now under medical marijuana that will be available when recreation becomes popular or becomes available. And they look exactly like the real thing. So you can have a soda, you can have a brownie, you can have a Danish, all kinds of amazing treats, family. So when my family comes to visit, I make sure I label everything and put it in a separate place. And I'm like, do not eat these brownies, mom. Whatever you do not eat these brownies. So my family is well aware of the rules of what is available to snack on and what is not, and what is labeled as medication. So just make sure, family, that you cover those bases, especially if you have visitors in the house. When you have children or young ones, like I said, just like firearms, tobacco, or your medicine cabinet, you want to make sure it's out of reach. Okay, let's go back to our resource. I love learning, don't you? All right, 2 ounces, family. 2 ounces is the maximum amount of cannabis you can purchase at one time, and that's 57 grams. I'll be honest, that's a lot of cannabis, family, at one time, right? So that's one purchase. That's one time, me rolling in on a Friday night after work. I'm gonna, make a batch of medication for the next 2 weeks. So I might go and get up to 2 ounces. I will say that is expensive. And so currently, when you buy a gram, family, and I'm horrible at math, but think of that as 57 grams, right? So it says you can buy up to 2 ounces, which is 57 grams. But currently, the price for recreational averages about $9 a gram. So let's go ahead and, oh no, my iPhone, family, is tricking me into signing up for something. Okay, well, someone does math for me and drop it in the comments, because I can't do math, family. But basically, we're looking at 57 grams times $9. And that's how much you would that's how much you would expect to pay. So that is a lot. And 2 ounces is quite an amount. It says the same limit acts as the maximum amount you can possess outside of your home. So that is if you're driving around in your vehicle, right? So you would have an ability to carry around 2 ounces. But again, family, honestly, what are you doing running around with that much weed? Leave it at home. That is expensive and that is money. So don't be driving around with it. I'm just saying, people, we live in New Mexico, and I love New Mexico. and it's my home, and I've been here my entire life, except for going to college, right? But other than that, family, you don't want to be a fool and leave stuff in your car because it will be gone and stolen because we are a poor state. And when people are poor, it's not about a criminal mind. It's about wanting to put food on the table no matter what. When people are hungry, they get desperate. So please do not leave your medical marijuana or any valuables in your vehicle. That is my PSA for today, family. I love you. I feel like I'm my mom right now. I'm giving auntie advice here too. All right, we have zero tolerance policies. Workplaces are still allowed to prohibit cannabis use and have the right to maintain a zero tolerance policy in the workplace. Additionally, private property owners can prohibit you from smoking on their property. So again, rental properties, private properties. Let's see if it says anything about businesses later. But that makes sense, right? I hope someday, family, I have hope that someday our laws will change and that we will see medical marijuana for the medicine it is, okay? And I'm hoping the federal government enlightens itself because COVID was honestly a form of historic trauma, family. So yeah, medical marijuana is a medicine and should not be classed as a drug. What is it, level 1? All right. The law requires the Cannabis Regulatory Advisory Committee comes into existence no later than September 1st, 2021. This committee will help create the rules related to cannabis. The committee is also supposed to promote economic and cultural diversity, meaning that lawmakers want to ensure that all communities across New Mexico have a chance to participate in the growing cannabis industry. We are ensuring that people from all walks of life, without having access to a lot of capital, can enter this new industry, said Representative Javier Martinez during a March 31st Senate meeting. Martinez helped to introduce the bill. All right, family, this is my question to you. How are we going to ensure that diversity, that people of color, that people who, quote, lack capital can get in on the ground level of the cannabis industry? Because mark my words, family, if your tribe invests in cannabis, you are the new Foxwoods, right? That's like getting in the casinos on the ground level, like, I don't know, what, 40 years ago, however many years ago. I'm such a bad historian, you guys. But seriously, the cannabis industry, so many states are making so much money. And I'm asking you, why is Indian country not getting in on the deal? When we don't invest, white investors, people who have historically had the capital to go into ventures like this, who become the Rockefellers of America, who become the modern day movers and shakers, those people continue time and time after again to become billionaires on purpose, family, because they have access to the capital, because they have access to the connections. So I'm asking you, one, tribes, please smarten up before it's too late. Because when the industry gets saturated, your profit margins decrease, they plummet. Okay, but if you're in the ground level, it's entrepreneur heaven, right? Secondly, how are we going to ensure that people of color and people without capital are allowed to even get a toe in the industry? In the recreational industry, hands down, you have to have $500,000 in order to start. Your entire operation has to be built. Your $10,000 for the application has to be in hand, and you have to be ready for inspection, family. Before you have to do all of that before you're approved. That takes money. So I'm asking you, how do we make sure that this legislature and these promises that these state lawmakers are giving us are actually held accountable? How does that translate to actual community wealth? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about investment in community wealth. And that's how we equalize the system, family, is when we literally make sure all of our communities have access to being owners of wealth, sustainable wealth. All right, 12 sectors. The law outlines 12 key parts of the cannabis supply chain that will need a permit to conduct business. They are the consumption areas. So it says think smoke lounges, the couriers and transporters, the manufacturers, micro businesses, producers, research labs, retailers, servers, testing labs, cannabis training and cannabis and training and education programs. Oh, nope, one more. Cannabis micro businesses with multiple roles, such as growing and serving, and vertically integrated businesses with multiple roles, such as manufacturing, transport, and retail. There is a huge industry. Again, family, this is going to be billions. It's one of my cats, sorry. And so I'm again begging Indian country, please demand of your leaders to not. Dear Indian country, I am one of you. I am from the Pueblo of Isleta, and I'm asking you, demand of your modern leaders to invest in us now. Investing on the ground level is what will be a game changer for our people and for our communities. So demand that they think of the future now and don't keep us stuck in the past. Prejudice, time and time again will cobble us and keep investing wealth into white communities and keep divesting wealth from brown and black and indigenous communities until we make the same sort of business investments that they do. And that includes recreational and medical marijuana. So please beg, plead, and demand that our leaders take action. All of our futures depend on it. 6 plants. Oh my gosh, family. I'm going to need 6 because I kill everything. So, beginning 90 days after the governor signs the bill, adults age 21 and over can keep up to 6 mature and 6 immature plants in their home, according to law. This is a per person maximum. So, if you live with other people, you could have more plants, but the maximum number of plants allowed in a home, no matter how many people live there, is 12 mature plants. Violate that and you can be slapped with a 4th-degree felony. And yes, if you move, you can take your plants with you. $50. You can't smoke marijuana in public except in licensed cannabis consumption areas. A first offense will likely set you back $50 as a criminal penalty, but if you're under 18 and caught smoking marijuana illegally, you aren't required to pay the fine according to law. 4 hours. Individuals under the age of 18 caught intentionally producing cannabis are subject to either a 4-hour drug education and legal rights program or 4 hours of community service. Adults over 18 but under 21 who grow marijuana plants may be subject to anywhere from a $50 fine up to a 4th-degree felony, depending on how many plants they produce. So again, family, please stay legal and do not get yourself or do not put your future at risk. 10 to 25% of cultivation. Lawmakers included measures to prevent the growing recreational industry from causing a shortage of medical marijuana. The law allows the Cannabis Control Divisions of New Mexico Regulations and Licensing Department to force all cannabis establishments to reserve at least 10% of their cannabis for sale to medical users if necessary. But the bill states that the Cannabis Control Division can't require businesses to keep more than 25% of their stock as medical-only reserves. And that makes sense, family, because that is something I had not thought of. It never occurred to me that the medical marijuana industry might be pushed out due to recreational because all of the supply houses would then turn over because there was a bigger profit margin to be made. So I'm glad our lawmakers are thinking of such nuances. But again, how do we ask for accountability to make sure the diversity and people who are traditionally kept out of these types of businesses due to loss of capital or lack of capital rather, how do we make sure this is equitably accessible? 12% tax. Under the law, cannabis retailers are subject to a cannabis excise law, excise law, that starts at 12% and will eventually increase to 18% by 2030. This is applied to the price paid for the product, but this tax doesn't apply to medical marijuana sales. That is all we have today, family. And I think that that was a great snapshot about what the state of New Mexico has in store for us. I cannot wait for recreational to be rolled out, family, because a lot of states around us have had great success, especially in areas like education and providing general social services to their communities. Let's be smart with this opportunity, family, and I can't wait to continue our adventure called life. This coyote is off to cause trouble somewhere else. Mwah! I love you and have an amazing Friday.